Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. And my name is Linda. I'm one of the English Elite Wordappers. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the way to earn your first badge. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to give you a quick overview of Jem's webinar that was held on Thursday that introduced us all to the concept of the badges. I'm not going through the whole webinar. It's on YouTube, YouTube/Wordapp, so you can go along and watch the whole webinar yourself on there. When I've done that overview, I'll do a quick question and answers. Please, will you put your questions in there for me, ready for when I get to that stage, and I will answer them then. And then we will go along to writing a blog post, and basically I'm just going to take you through the process I do to write one, and then we'll have a final question and answers. Okay, I won't be using the chat while the webinar is running. So let's start with Jem's presentation. So it's a new development within Wordapp, and really it's to get writers off the ground and running quality writing. Quality writing involves correct grammar, it involves correct spelling, it involves properly done metas and meta descriptions, and then it becomes the writing. Obviously has to be done in the language that you're learning in and has to be readable and understandable. But quality never takes a day off. So if your language is bad, if your spelling is bad, if your grammar is bad, any one of those three can get you blocked. And if you want to be unblocked, you will have to do some serious work to let Jem or Joan decide that you can come back in and try again. But it is well worth doing it. There's 4 badges and you can earn a minimum of €150 a week. And these are the 4 badges that you'll be looking at. And badge 1 is to qualify, the one we're working on today. And then we will be looking at category and brands and the SEO, followed by landing pages and keyword research. And the 4th badge is building the WordPress sites. And that, along with a referral from the EVA of your team, can put you forward to the intensive training to become an EVA yourself, where you have the potential to earn up to €1,000 a month. Now, these steps are very straightforward, they're quite clear, but you need to put the work in yourself. These are not, one webinar is not the answer to looking things up, trying them out and learning. This is a constant learning curve in this job. There's new things happening, tech develops, different texts come in. There's so much work coming in at the moment. It's there for you, but you do have to meet the standards to actually get there. It says it for you, study before you dive in. There are a number of webinars going up on our YouTube channel, and all of them are informative, and all of these are in English. We also do a weekly English writing webinar where you can learn further tips and advice on how to present your work. So these are what we recommend, as you can see for the badges. There's 4 there that we recommend that you start with, and the links are all on the YouTube video, or go to Wordapp/courses and you will find them on there. So that's all I'm going to say about Jem's video. webinar, sorry, you can attend GEMS webinars. They're on a Thursday, and if you have a look on Wordapp courses, you can see where you can sign up for them. And that's one way of earning the reward points. It takes 8 reward points to open the blog posts that we're currently talking about, 20 for the second badge and 40 for the third badge. You can earn the reward points in a number of ways, by doing the survey tasks, by attending a webinar and picking the tasks up that goes with the webinar. They're not just being given for free. This first one, if you don't have any reward tasks of your own, reward points of your own, then you can contact myself and I can let you have some reward points. The thing is, I have a limited number, and if you have got your own, please don't ask me for more. Use the ones you've got to do these tasks. Any question and answers? We have one. Will everybody be able to earn a badge? Yes, everybody coming to work in Wordapp will have to have these badges, and people already working will have to process them, because the badges will be your access to different level of tasks available. So it's going to be important to do that. No more questions? Okay, let's move on to the writing part of the webinar. So the first step you would do is head over to Wordapp and your task feed, and there you will see all the tasks and you open them up, and as you can see, I've done it here. So the first thing you do is you read the template instructions. You know, we put a lot of thought into these, and they're there to guide you in what is actually wanted. We want you to write these well. So we've got the template instructions, then we've got information about the domain you're writing for, unique selling points, and call to actions. So you need to pick these up and hold them in your mind while you go and visit the site, which you will find under the domain URL. So we'll open that up, which is, I did a bit like a Blue Peter badge. I prepared some things beforehand, but I'll take you through the process I did in that preparation. So I came along to the blog. Now, as I actually did this blog, I'm quite well aware of its tone and what is needed, but you won't be. So you need to go through the blog. You need to read it. Sorry, the site. You need to read it. You need to look at the different pages. And if it's already got a blog, then go along and have a look what it has. This one has a destination wedding. The thing about this is it's a much longer word count, and it has focus keywords in it and anchor text. Yours will be a lot less. So what you're actually doing is 120 words, which might sound, oh, I can do that in a few minutes. What you have to remember is your blog has to be interesting, and it has to be relevant in a limited word count. So you can't go waffling the way through it, because I will kick it back. No fancy language. What I mean by that is use the language that fits the tone of the site. Most of the sites we're putting up are talking to the man in the street. So make your language fit that. You know, we're not writing formal dissertations here. So archaic or formal terminology is not necessary. You don't have to prove to us that you are expert in the English language by putting in a load of long words or using the dictionary. switch your tone to what you think they will like. As I said, look at the other blogs on the site. The longer word counts allow you to be a lot more general, less specific, generic. You've got the words to play around with. In a shorter blog, you're better to pick something specific, which is actually what I did. What I decided on this was I was going to write about a wedding venue. Well, first of all, I started with wedding venues. Can't do that in 120 words. So I reduced it to one. And I Googled, actually, let's do it. As I'm local to Manchester, that's what went in rather than London. So I put this up and I had a little bit of a go through, looking at some of the things that people were writing in the top 10, what they were asking, what they were doing. Without having to open all of those, what I came up with was this. Oops. I actually know the venue. So I did a little bit of reading on here. I opened this up and had a look. This is always very useful, especially for the shorter text, because you don't need an in-depth review. It's too much information. So Google is extremely useful for it. So it gives you, this is the Wikipedia, this actually doesn't give you that much information that a bride would want to know. So, but there's the website of it itself. So I went on there, and this is great because you read through this, and already here you've got information that you can use. So it's dramatic, it's unique, you can do your own thing in it. It's licensed for ceremonies and reception, 5 spaces, and an amazing, a special angel of purity. And then down here we've got some costings. So this was all I needed for the 120. But what I did was I double checked the costings because we want to give them up-to-date information and not wrong. And I went away and had a look at this angel of purity and some of the baths to get just an idea of what it is. And then with me notes all done, I then went away to write. So we go back to Wordapp. Although that has an image in, I would suggest you do not do your image until you have finished your writing. So you've got a clear idea of what you want to put there. So we're going to start with the writing. And the first is a H1. As it says in the instructions, eye-catching title for the article. The reasoning behind that is most people scan before they sit down to read. And if you've got a monotonous, boring or uninteresting headers, then they're not going to read your text. You've got to write something that means something to them. So what I did on this, oops, no, that's not it. There it is. That's my H1 header. Obviously coming in under the rules, turning them to green. And then we write the introduction to the topic. Now in such a short text, your introduction is also giving information as well. So here I start with a question because that tends to draw people into wondering what the answer is. So they carry on reading. And then I tell them exactly what I'm writing about, which is that. I go on to give it a little bit of brief information about the building and then what you could actually use. And I tell them where it is because remember this is a wedding site. people have guests, that's why they're having a reception, and this makes it easy access. So there's quite a bit of information in there. And then these blogs have two headings. The second is a H2. And again here, I start with telling them what it's going to be about, and then why they should carry on reading. So this is with a difference. So, you know, what's more different about it. And then I tell them it's perfect. I tell them it's a perfect venue, and where they could have it with some evocative words in there to catch their attention. I didn't use amazing, I decided on beautiful. And then telling them everybody will remember it, and we all want our weddings to be remembered. And then I finish with a price. So it's starting from. So I'm not giving an exact price, it can be a bit interpretive. So there we are, we have them. Then we come down to the metas. Metas are vitally important to all the work we do on WordPress. These are what people's attention is caught in the Google search. It's what makes them come to your page. Bland or obscure metas are not a lot of use. What we need is something that tells people what it's all about and why they should look on your page. So for mine, I told them it was about unique wedding venues in Manchester. So it's quite a targeted audience. It's people who are looking, and there's lots of people in Manchester who want to get married. That's would catch their eye. And then I tell them it's different and memorable in the hopes they're going to say, oh, why? Oh, I'll have a look at that, have a think about that. So they'll click away and have a look. And the meta description just reinforces what your post is about and why they should go and have a look at it. Now, excuse me, your metas have to be, I change that, your metas have to be proper sentences, so they follow the grammar rules. These are character, not word measured, so your spaces count, your question marks, your full stops, your commas, all count in the character count. The beauty on WordPress is they let you know if you've managed it on statements. They're not sentences or headers as such. So you can play around, you can put a EM dash in there, you can make it one sentence, but we don't finish with a full stop in the meta title. If it's a question, obviously we put a question mark, but we don't finish it otherwise with that. So once you're happy with all of that, what I do then is I go to preview and I copy it, and then I head it over to Grammarly. Check, I have a professional one, so it actually, I have 4 languages to choose from. And basically I pop it in there. It'll ask me for the domain and tone. So I don't want a full sentence there. So that is that. And then you just look through it, make the alterations you want to make. Remember that Grammarly is a tool. It's not always right. You have to use your own judgment in what you change and what you keep. It will give you options and it will tell you the correct article usage. But again, this is not a formal dissertation piece. So, and that is the key word, or it would be in another blog post. I've not used keywords in here. And you don't have to consider that. So we could actually put in the UK there. So quite happy. And then I custom paste it back into Wordapp. So you have to go back to the edit. And then if it's a lot, you can cut and paste it, or you can just add it in yourself. The final thing I do is I read it through out loud, but I'm not going to bore you with doing that. But I suggest you do because it gives you an idea of tone. And as you're reading it out loud, you think, oh, I wouldn't say that. So, because this has to be language you'd use with your friends, your family, your mates. We're talking to man on the street. So then we go back to the image. And what we do here, I'm going to update it. Now, what I did beforehand was I actually I put this into Google and the website, and I had a look through and I found a picture I liked. It wasn't copyrighted or watermarked. So I took it and I saved it to my desktop. What I had to do, because the size was wrong, was to crop it. And the tool I use is this one. As you can see, it's still there. And you can crop, you can crop, you can resize, which I did do. It was over, so I brought it down so that it'll fit in the dimensions that are there. And then ever so simply, you just save it back to your computer. Do use JPEG. We will go into more of what images to choose and how to do them. But for the moment, if you just use JPEG and not PNG for your images, that would be helpful. Save it, and off it goes down there. There it is. Okay, back on Wordapp. We click this. There it is. Open. It's been a little bit slow. And your picture will be there. Now this is, here you have to write what the picture's about. So it's for people who might not be able to see what the image is put up. So we could actually, with this, probably get away with a unique wedding venue. But I'm actually going to put Victoria Baths wedding venue. So it's very clear what that is. So everything's there. And we submit it to go off to the editor and be checked. When it gets to the editor, that'll either be myself, Jem or Joan. They will be randomly checking all the ones that the EWAs edit as well. They're looking language, they're looking spelling, grammar, metas, and you fail on one of them, as I said before, you will be blocked. Achieve it and you can move on to the next stage, which is the SEO, and in English that will be held on Tuesday. I hope you found this useful today and you're excited about this new stage in Wordapp, and time for questions and answers. So I can see somebody's typing, so just hang on a minute. Will I get paid? I presume you mean for writing the blog. Yes, you will. It's €1.50 for the 120 words. Will cost, you will have to use 8 reward points to open, as I said before. And then you move on to other tasks within the Wordapp task feed. How do we get reward points? You earn them. As I said before, you can earn them by attending webinars and fulfilling the tasks that are set for you to earn the webinars. Last week it was doing Google Ads. It's also been about putting your blog posts on social media, doing something for the eWord that you're working with. I have some discretionary reward points, but as I said before, they are limited, so you have to impress me on why you need the reward points. Have you got any more questions? No, nothing's coming up. Thank you for listening. If you think of a question later, please reach out to us through Intercom. For those of you that are on my Skype team, you can contact me directly on there. And I hope to see you for the next meeting, which will be Tuesday at 7 p.m. And it will be for the second badge training SEO. Thank you again, and bye.